Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this special event to formally present the 20/30 limited edition print portfolio, which was produced in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the CCP last 2020. I am Rica Estrada, Officer in charge of the CCP Visual Arts and Museum Division. I'd like to call on my co-host, an artist whose work is also part of the 20/30 print folio. Ambi Abanyo's art practice spans over 30 years with a body of work in oil paintings in her early years, then woodcut prints from the late 90s to the present, which she explored extensively to create installations and sculptural works. She has held 24 solo exhibitions and participated in numerous group exhibitions locally and internationally since 1986. Her printmaking awards include third place in the 2020 ASEAN Graphic Arts Competition in Vietnam and winning work in the 2017 Hida Takayama International Woodblock Print Triennale in Japan. She served as the president of the Association of Printmakers, Philippine Association of Printmakers from 2007 to 2012, and is now a board member. She has given numerous lectures and workshops in printmaking all over the Philippines and has a Master in Fine Arts degree from the University of the Philippines College of Fine Arts, where she has been teaching since 2004. May I welcome Ms. Ambi Abanyo.
Thank you very much, Rika, and good afternoon to everyone. We're hoping that everyone is safe and COVID-free.
Hi, Ms. Ambi. So before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the CCP Board of Trustees that are here with us today. Attorney Lorna Kapunan and Mr. Benedict Carandang. Good afternoon to you. And we're also joined by Mr. Reza Rances, Department Manager at the CCP. Thank you for being here today. This launch has been in the works for quite some time now. It was initially planned as an on-site event at the CCP last May. However, it was postponed due to the surge of COVID-19 cases. It was then moved to June, then to July, to August, and finally now in September, we're here today to celebrate the center's 52nd anniversary celebration this September. And so we are here gathered once again online to introduce and launch this project with the Association of Pinoy Printmakers and the generous artists whose works are in this folio. I'd like to ask Ms. Ambi, how was AP's experience making this folio in the middle of a pandemic?
Well, actually, just to make a portfolio without the pandemic is a challenge enough. And with the pandemic, it was really, well, we had to go through so much, but of course we pushed through because this is for CCP and this is for the people. The production faced a lot of challenges from procurement of materials because, like you don't know if the materials are available, logistics, and the actual printing of the works. The actual printing of the works, we have to go to the studio and sometimes the studio is closed and, all these things. But thankfully, like you say, finally, after so long, finally, we're very thankful. We're very happy that finally we're here, we're launching it. So despite the hurdles, everyone pushed through, and I can't wait to see the artworks finally exhibited in the CCP. We miss the CCP so much. So to see the works and to hear from the artists, let's start the program, Rika.
Yes, okay. So to begin, let's hear from the CCP President, Mr. Arsenio J. Lizaso.
Magandang araw po. It is my great honor to share this moment with you as the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the Association of Pinoy Printmakers present 2030, a limited edition print portfolio in celebration of CCP's 50th anniversary. We are launching this folio online, and it is good to know that the artists featured in this portfolio are or were affiliated in one way or another with the said association. As we launch the limited edition print folio, I am certain that getting a copy will be of great worth not only for art collectors and patrons, but for the artistic community as well. The proceeds of the portfolio will go to the fundraising program of the CCP and AP. Likewise, I congratulate the artists, cultural workers, friends, and colleagues who lent their time, talent, and energy to produce the print folio, which is the second commemorative print folio of the CCP with AP. Prior to it, a print folio billed as 25 at 45 was the first produced in 2014 to celebrate the center's 45th anniversary. We at CCP value the partnership with AP as well, since AP has been working closely with the CCP Visual Arts and Museum Division under the Production and Exhibition Department for more than 20 years. To everyone, I extend my warmest gratitude and bravo to the Filipino artists for making the process of printmaking a meaningful and significant art form.
We thank Mr. Lizaso for his message. And now, may I call on the CCP Vice President and Artistic Director, Mr. Chris Millado, to welcome us today. Mr. Chris Millado is a big supporter also of printmaking. Thank you.
This is Chris Millado, Artistic Director of the Cultural Center of the Philippines, welcoming you all to the online vernissage or soft opening of the exhibit of the works that are part of 20/30, a limited edition print portfolio in celebration of the 50th year anniversary of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. This print portfolio consists of two sets of works of 40 leading printmakers, and they are divided into two sets that will be distributed or will be made available in a limited edition of 30 sets. This print portfolio comes in two special sets and are a collection of fine prints using various printmaking techniques by practitioners who have contributed to the development of Philippine contemporary printmaking and who represent a whole range of generations in Philippine art. On behalf of the Cultural Center of Philippines, we would like to thank our partner, Association of Pinoy Printmakers, and the participating artists in this very special collection of art prints. This project is supposed to be launched 2 years ago as part of the 50th anniversary celebration of the CCP, but because of the intermittent lockdowns brought about by the pandemic, this exhibit finally finds its rightful place in the walls of Bulwagan Carlos Francisco, located here at the CCP Little Theater lobby. So once again, we would like to invite everyone to the online vernissage or soft opening of 20/30, an exhibit of art prints that are part of the limited edition print portfolio in celebration of the 50th year anniversary of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Thank you and hope you enjoy your online experience in the virtual reality 360 version of 20/30.
And now, on behalf of the Association of Printmakers, I'm very proud to introduce their President Emeritus, artist Virgilio Pandy Aviado. Aviado is a product of many printmaking workshops in Manila and Spain, France, and Japan. After more than 50 years in his craft, he continues to dabble in workshops that experiments with new techniques. In the 60s and the 70s, he guided several artists to explore printmaking as a medium of expression. In Europe, he became a professional intaglio printer, making editions and pulling proofs of many famous Spanish and French printmakers. In 1989, he was sent to Fukuoka, Japan, to participate in the first Inter-Asian project, producing a print folio of Asian print masters. Sir Pandy continues to attend Asian art camps and art fairs. At present, he heads the Philippine Committee of the Federation of Asian Artists.
The mortality rate of the pandemic is alarming. Critical resources are stretched. The very essence of freedom is shrinking. And yet, we are moved inwards to the vast inner space of our thoughts and imagination, a place we have perhaps neglected. Of all the necessities we now feel so keenly aware of, the arts and their contribution to our well-being is evident, and in some way central to the coronavirus quarantine, especially for those of us isolated at home. For some, there are more pressing needs, but momentary joys, even in dire circumstances, often come through the arts and collective expression. It is in this view that the CCP is launching its second portfolio of prints for their ongoing golden anniversary in this time is to have a continual process of refining artistic vision, redefining reality, and hoping a new understanding about ourselves and the world around us. In this time of crisis and isolation, the role of art becomes more central to our lives, whether we realize it or not. We can easily take for granted the selection of media that is available to us. Whether we like it or not, our consumption habits, which include social media, form who we are, our values, our inclinations. They are a montage of beliefs that are also tested in these difficult times. Art connects us to the foreign, the exotic, and the impossible. But in our current context, it also connects us to a world where anything is possible, a world out of our grasp for now. Prints are intimate artworks. It is meant to be seen up close, like illustrations in books. It is meant to be examined like engraved maps. It is a topic of most concern as social isolation and the fear of infection directly affect the people's mental welfare, which makes it also an important topic to consider. And not only the disease's pulmonary symptoms. As such, it is necessary to search for methods of preserving the mental health of the isolated population. One could, for example, reach out to art because, as said by Friedrich Nietzsche, quote unquote, art exists so that reality does not destroy us. There are those who say that printmaking and painting are activities destined only to children, which suggests its possible positive effect on the well-being as a therapeutic activity. Art is a way of creating, feeling, expressing oneself, thereby creating a link between one's internal and external self. Augusto Curry says, quote unquote, being happy is allowing the child inside you to be happy and free, close quotation. In these social isolation situations, I think everyone should let their inner child run free. Feel free to look at the fine prints in these daunting times and let the positive effects speak for themselves. If you have children or elderly person at home, it is a great opportunity to engage in a shared experience appreciating art. As David Alves Mendez puts it, quote unquote, art is a form of happiness. Appreciating fine prints is pure happiness.
Thank you very much, Sir Pandy. Thank you for that meaningful and insightful message. And thank you also for being present with us today. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Benjamin Torrado Cabrera, who is more commonly known as Benji, who is currently the association's president, and also the other artists who are here with us today, the artists who are participating in this project. We have Alfredo Juan Aquilizan, of course, Mr. Virgilio Aviado, Elmer Borlongan, Ma'am Imelda Kahipe Endaya, Mr. Phil de la Cruz, and to represent Neil Doloricon, we have the daughter Kat Doloricon. Hi, Kat. Ofelio Galveston Tequi, Rodolfo Revilla Perez Jr., Ricky Francisco is representing Mr. Jovinal Sanso. We have here Mars Bugaoan, Salvador Ching, Joey Cobcobo, Yes Doctor, Noel El Farol, Lenore R.S. Lim, Angelo Magno, Hershey Malinis, Jonathan Olaso, Radel Paredes, Christina Quisumbing Ramilo, and to represent Ms. Roda Recto, we have Mr. Anthony Recto, and of course, Anton Villaruel. Rika?
So nice to have everyone here today. I'm excited to chat later on with everyone. So we also want to, of course, give everyone a sneak peek into the 20/30 exhibition. Since we can't all be together at the CCP as much as we would want to, we created a 360-degree VR video of the exhibition, which is currently mounted at the Bulwagang Carlos V. Francisco, our little theater lobby. I hope everyone enjoyed that. The 20 over 30 exhibit is our first on-site exhibition since the CCP was closed March last year. So we're hoping that in the near future, we can welcome guests to view the show in person.
Yeah, really, Rika, we miss CCP so much. Personally, I miss CCP so much because of the exhibitions, the performances, and I'm sure a lot of us do. Anyway, we also have Rika with us here today, friends from the media joining us this afternoon. We have Miss Michelle Sulaiman of Business World Arts and Leisure, and editor, and Roel H. Manipon of Daily Tribune.
Welcome. So nice to have you. So in this part of the program, we'll be hearing from 4 of the 40 artists who are part of the 20 over 30 print folio. So first up is Alfredo Juan Aquilizan, who is an artist of broad sympathies. He draws, paints, prints, sculpts, mixes media, does assemblage, and initiates installation projects. Together with his wife Isabel, he has exhibited at biennials and triennials like Venice, Sydney, Japan, Moscow, Honolulu, and Singapore, among others, and has been commissioned by the Tate Liverpool Museum. To present and tell us more about his work in the folio, may I welcome Mr. Alfredo Aquilizan.
Hello everyone. It's a bit fortunate that in a way to be being part of this project. It's just so happened that we are here in the Philippines because of the pandemic. We got locked down here early on and then we stayed on. So maganda rin yung timing kasi I was able to be part of it. So I always said that I'm not really a printmaker, but looking back, I've been working with prints for since I was in elementary, I guess, like the potato cat and the okra and the calamansi, and then calamansi prints. And then when I was in college, of course, during the time, Pandy Aviado is our dean. But it's just that I think would rather be somewhere else rather than be in the studio. So in college, hindi talaga kami ako most especially. But when I went to New York and study in Art Student League, I went to a class in which is a lithography class because I thought that it's actually something that I can do, lithography, because it's parang nagdo-drawing ka lang sa stone and so on. So mas spontaneous because I don't have really that patience and what you call it. That it's printmaking is very technical for me at the time. So that's when I started doing printmaking again. And then also when I was doing my MA in UK, I did a few prints as well until. But it was never for me. I think wala yung passion pa at that time. No? Even when I was doing my postgraduate again in Australia. So printmaking is also one of the things that dun sa school namin is quite popular. No? I remember also when I was practicing here in the Philippines when I was doing joining competition. I remember I joined the painting, the AAP competition, yung kanilang print category. Ang naalala ko lang, I was disqualified because I submitted this thumb prints, like a portrait of thumb prints. But anyway, I think instead of probably being motivated, I geared towards other medium. Anyway, again, a few years back, Isabel and I, we worked together now, and we were invited by the Singapore Tyler Print Institute. And I think that's an eye-opener for me and for us and Isabel, because we were able to start from the experimentation of the thumbprint. Now we are free actually to do whatever we want. You know, the only I guess the only challenge every morning in STPI is for you to come up with new ideas and just bring it to the technicians, and the following day they bring you the like the proofs, and for us to look into how to push it further. And I guess we were able to do a lot of different prints, from embossing to cyanotype to colograph to serigraph, and translate it into light boxes, I suppose. So I guess now that we're getting more, well, older, we have more patience, I guess. And yeah, so the prints that I've done for this portfolio is actually I always wanted to go back into the more traditional prints, which is, yeah, I've tried lithography, and now for this portfolio, I guess subukan ko naman uli yung etching. So this is basically what I've done for this portfolio. I think we have a video that we prepared actually as part of this. Yeah, basically we have, well, it's nice also to hear the sound. I think the sound for us is, the studio sound is something that is very important in a way. We're very lucky to have Benji to actually help us, and it's always nice to work with someone who is actually an expert, or so that the technical side of things, that probably one of the things that made us not go into this medium is done by someone who's more knowledgeable, I suppose. I went to the print workshop without anything, so Benji just gave me a blank plate, and as much as the same way probably as the way we do our installations and other things, we do it spontaneously. So walang preconceived idea, we just start making it, no, making the markings on the plate. So it's really nice to reconnect again with this medium, and most especially with this process, no, the process of the etching. No? A long time ago, when I was in New York, I also worked with Boy Rodriguez, and we usually go to the Blackburn print studio, where actually it's always fascinating to see all these large etching press. No, one of the largest etching press, I guess, that I've seen is in Blackburn studio. So these are the image that you're seeing. Actually, is just like, these are just a takeoff of some of the installations that we produce, the large scale installation. So in a way, transferring the idea from paper to installation, I think that's part of our practice as a visual artist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Freddy. So before we move on to our next artist, I'd like to acknowledge another member of the CCP Board of Trustees, Dr. Jaime Laya. Thank you for being here today. Miss Ambi, would you like to introduce our next artist?
Yes, we move on to our second artist. Quite exciting also, no? And it's my honor to introduce him. Mr. Elmer Borlongan took up fine arts major in painting at the University of the Philippines in Diliman, 1987. After a stint with the art collective Abay, Artista ng Bayan, in the late 80s, he joined the young artist group Saling Pusa and later Sanggawa. With Saling Pusa and Sanggawa, Borlongan lent his prodigious talent to figurative figurative painting to produce large-scale interactive canvases that include works featured in survey shows in Australia, Denmark, and the US, as well as important mural projects such as the Centennial paintings in the Malacanang Palace. And also his preference for depicting characters of a social class led him to be identified with the social realist movement, although Borlongan, after the late 1990s, led a solitary artistic practice in Zambales, a rural province northeast of Manila. Self-taught in printmaking, Borlongan resumed printmaking during the lockdown in 2020, and I think he's continuing getting that new energy for printmaking again. So I see the passion in him. So let's all welcome Mr. Elmer Borlongan, better known as Emo. Hi, Emo.
Hi, Ambi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Ambi. Yung background ko in printmaking, maiksi lang. I started doing rubber cuts and wood cuts using yung swelas ng sapatos sa rubber cuts. Tapos in wood cuts, I would use ordinary plywood because I was inspired by the works of Mario Parial and Rod Paras Perez. So this was in the late 90s and early 2000. Pero na tigil yun kasi I had to concentrate on painting and exhibitions. And then when the pandemic started in the early 2020, nagkaroon ako ng time to go back to making prints. So I started doing monotypes and then nag-rubber cut ako ulit. But all my prints were all hand burnished. No? Mano-mano ko sila piniprint. And then napansin ko parang masakit na yung braso ko. I realized na I wasn't that young anymore. Parang hindi na ako malakas. So naghanap ako na tiyempo naman I was referred to Raul Isidro. Meron siyang available na small etching press. It's fabricated locally kasi wala namang nabibili dito na mga etching presses. It's all ordered abroad, no? So yan din yung mga need ng mga printmakers natin locally. Tapos yung sa print ko, gumawa ako ng mga rubber cuts ulit. Tapos yung prints. And then after na makakuha ko nung etching press na 13 by 23 yung bed size, I started experimenting on other processes like dry point. And kasi every time na I would meet Sir Pandy Aviado in openings, laging bukang bibig sa akin ni Sir Pandy, try lithography. But yun nga, dahil kasi I'm based in Zambales, I don't have any access to equipments, no? Yung lithographic stone and lithographic presses. So naghahanap ako ng mga alternative. Kaya besides working on dry point on plexiglass, sinubukan ko rin yung mag-dry point sa Tetra Pak, yung mga milk cartons. And then pagdating naman sa lithography, may na-discover ako sa Instagram at saka sa YouTube yung kitchen lithography. So instead of using stones, ang matrix nun is aluminum foil. And yung acid niya, Coca-Cola, kasi it has an ingredient of phosphoric acid. No? Very mild acid. So yun yung kumakain dun sa greasy crayon na pinapahid mo sa plate dun sa aluminum foil. So interesting yung experiment kasi parang science project siya. Now, tungkol dito sa my piece for the CCP print portfolio, this is my first time to participate. No? Thanks to Ambi for inviting me. So maganda kasi I had the time to work on this piece. Yung old work ko, has the same title, yung Ang Babae sa Perya, but it's in full color, small pastel. But I wanted to do some possibilities in black and white kasi ano siya, very graphic, no? Gusto ko yung geometry. Now, nagtanong-tanong na naman ako ulit kasi I was looking for a better matrix maliban sa plywood. So, nakakuha ko yung kaibigan kong furniture maker, si Benji Reyes, gave me a plank of giho. It's a Philippine native, from a Philippine native tree. So this is, I will show you this is the, I don't know, it's all, covered in ink. Para na siyang black on black. So this is the matrix. Ito yung, ganito kakapal siya, 3/4. So this is the verso, this is the back. So ito, medyo challenging siya. Hindi naman ganun hindi naman siya hardwood. Pero mahirap din challenging to carve these circles. And so I had to research yung mga how the Japanese ukiyo woodblock artists were carving their matrix. So yun, this is a fun project. I think the subject, nakita ko, it's all based from life, all my works. Nakita ko to during that time yung meron pang payanig sa Pasig. So nagpunta kami ng mga kaibigan ko dun sa Perya, tapos meron dong booth na ang object of the game is to throw a ball on the target, and then when you hit the bull's eye, yung tao na nandun sa loob ng glass frame, mahuhulog siya and mahuhulog sa tubig. So yan ang mga works ko pagdating sa mga subject matter. So recently, pagdating sa printmaking, naghahanap din naman ako ng mga alternative ways of printing. Kasi kung nag-hand burnish tayo, yung wooden spoon, o kaya baso, but lately, I found out from the contemporary Mexican printmakers, they were using tortilla presses. Yung kahoy na paggawa ng tortilla. So ano siya, parang dalawang piece of wood, niipit mo siyang ganun, tapos merong handle, and then you press the matrix and the paper para magkaroon ka ng impression. So yun yung pressure. So marami silang mga ginagamit, so alternative from food making to print making. So yan, nagpa-customize ako sa kakilala kong carpenter. Ginawa naman niya ako ng plate na kasya yung 9x12. Tapos meron din akong in-order merong dalawang mga product developers, mga printmaker and filmmaker sa Cologne, Germany, mga bata pa. Nag-develop naman sila ng 3D printed printing press. It's called the Open Press Project. But the link, kung hindi mo siya orderin abroad, you can print the press, kung meron kang access sa 3D printer. So maliit lang siya, sayang lang wala akong sample ng photo. But that's what I'm doing now with my printmaking. And nagkaroon ako ng deep respect for printmakers kasi napaka-tedious pala ng process. You really need the discipline and patience. At saka lalo na ako, madalas pa rin ako magkamali kasi talaga yung image, you always have to think in reverse. Minsan, na-drawing ko na sa plate and then I already carved it and then realizing, hindi pala naka-reverse. So pag print, ano siya, baliktad. So I have to do it all over again. So yan ang mga ano ko, pinagkakabalahan ko ngayon in terms of the process of printmaking.
Thank you so much, Sir Emong. I really hope we can visit your studio, your new print studio in Zambales in the future. I'll leave Miss Ambi to introduce our next artist.
Yes, thank you, Rika. But before that, thank you again, Emong. I can see that you're going to be busy with printmaking, these coming days and in the future. We're already planning to do a workshop in Zambales. So now we move on to the next artist, an artist that I highly respect for her integrity, for being a good artist also. She's with a prolific art career spanning decades of exhibitions in various countries and working different mediums. Christina Quisumbing Ramilo recently explores the sculptural aspect of printmaking through dry embossed relief. Her work often examines the endless possibilities of book format and its physicality, this time taking visual cues from her public installations of libraries with wooden books. Forest for the Trees, that was shown in Art Fair Philippines in 2019, and Forest for the Trees Peri Peri, in Jogja Biennale 15 in 2019 also. She is a graduate of the University of the Philippines, Bachelor of Fine Arts 1985, and of the New York University with a master's degree in studio arts and art education in 1988. So Lynn came back, and she's a practicing visual artist, very prolific and very, very well respected. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Miss Christina Ling Quisumbing Ramilo. Ling?
Hi, magandang hapon. Nasabi na ni Ambi, so the end. Anyway, if we can show the work that I did for this project. Yung background, may background ako sa printmaking sa UP, silk screen, serigraphs. And then yung nasa New York ako, nag-aral ako ng intaglio printmaking. And then matrabaho siya, maproseso siya, madumi siya. Pero ang ganda ng sense of community and camaraderie sa mga printmakers na wala pag pintor ka or gumagawa ka ng sarili mo trabaho. Di ba, guys?
Yep.
After nun, nag-aral ako ng lithography. So I wanted to, since bata pa ako, gusto ko mag-explore ng iba-ibang mga techniques. So nag-aral ako ng lithography, photo lithography sa aluminum plates, I think, ang ginagamit. And then kagaya ni Freddy, nag-aral ako sa Our Students League ng limestone lithography. Kasi gusto ko mag-printmaking, pero puno palagi yung klase. So walang kumukuha masyado ng limestone lithography. Kasi mabigat siya, ganun siyang kakakapal, yung mabigat. So minsan kailangan dalawa kayo, kailangan may partner ka. But I actually enjoyed it so much that when I went back to the Philippines, medyo na-addict ako dun sa proseso. Tapos kumuha ako ng klase sa UP, tapos si Ambi doon ko nakilala. Si Ambi yung teacher ko. And prior to meeting Ambi, gusto ko ang printmaking, pero sobra siyang technical. Kailangan ka nag-iisip. Parang sinasabi ni Elmer na gagawin mo. So dapat iniisip mo talaga yung ginagawa mo kasi baligtad siya di ba? Maproseso siya, marami siyang steps. Isa sa sobrang big fan ako ni Offie Techie kasi sobrang galing niya sa viscosity. Tama ba, Offie? Hindi ko alam kung paano niya nagagawa yun. Nag-aral ako with Krishna Reddy, who was like one of the first printmakers doing viscosity, and si Offie sobrang galing doon. So pero hindi kaya ng powers ko. So anyway, going back to, can we like switch the images and just, yeah. So I came up with this work, and gusto ko, since nasubukan ko na yung iba-ibang techniques, prior to making this project, gumawa nga ako ng library, sobrang laki, massive yung installation, using yung mga discards ng mga historical houses sa Las Casas Acosar, sa Bellas Artes. So they buy ancestral houses, historic houses, and ito yung mga retaso. So gumawa ako ng library made of those retasos. So malaki yung scale. So nandun pa rin ako sa ganong realm, sa mga libro. Tapos at the same time, gumagawa rin ako ng papel. I was doing handmade paper, and what I would do for the series of paper, usually sinisira ko yung mga libro, yung mga maraming tambak dito sa bahay, like phone directories, like things that you don't use anymore, yung mga bulok na inamag na. So sisirain ko siya, tapos bubuuin ko siya ulit. So I guess doon ang gagaling yung psyche ko kung paano ako nakarating sa konsepto nito. Tapos because I was doing all these big projects, medyo pagod na ako. So ang title ng work na to, Artist Blocks. Kasi medyo wala na akong maisip na iba aside from what I was doing prior to this project. So this is like small and intimate. And because I love texture, naisip ko parang kontra, kasi printmaking project siya na hindi gumamit ng ink. So because I haven't tried doing embossing, so I decided to experiment with dry, anong tawag mo doon, Ambi? Dry embossing.
Matrix.
Yeah. So meron ako mga matrix dito. So actually, what I do is I usually do a lot of studies. Teka, yun. Studies. Baligtad.
Baliktad link.
O nga,
Yeah.
yun. So ito, gumamit ako ng chipboard, mga retaso sa bahay. So yung iba manipis, yung iba makapal. I tried it with wood. Sorry, disoriented ako I tried it with wood. Iba-iba yung mga, kung ano lang yung mga kalat ko dito sa bahay. So I actually tried to print all of these, and yung nandito na, yung puti, yan yung pinaka-successful na pinaka-consistent. I guess that's about it. Yeah. So maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Ling. I was so interested when you chose to use the emboss method for this folio. And now, the last artist will be presenting his work to us, the treasurer of the Association of Pinoy Printmakers, and has been a member for 8 years now. Mars Bugaoan received his cum laude degree in Fine Arts, major in Advertising Arts from the University of Santo Tomas. Since 2016, he has presented solo exhibitions at Capitana Gallery, Art Informal, Vinyl on Vinyl, and Pinto Art Museum. He was shortlisted for the Ateneo Art Awards in 2018 and this year in 2021 as well. He was a participant of the Bellas Artes Project's Namamahay Flash Residency in Bataan and the A Bungalow Residency Project in Negros, as well as the Pasaload Online Residency by Load na Dito Projects. Mars?
Hello, Rika. Make sure ko lang okay ba yung audio ko? Narinig ako?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, okay. Thank you sa introduction, Rika. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Ako po si Mars Bugaoan. Yung tulad nung sinabi ni Sir Freddy kanina, yung exposure mo din ng printmaking, nagsimula din siya pagkabata. So, naalala ko din yung gumawa din kami ng school project na ginagamit yung mga gulay para mag-print with the watercolor. And then, yung nilalaro din yung piso at irarub mong ganon. So, may process ng pag-transfer ng image. And then, nung nag-take ako ng fine arts sa UST, yun, may exposure din kami sa relief printmaking. Pero, mas nagganyan siya. Kasi after graduating sa college, nag-corporate, ganyan ako, work, which is naging graphic designer ako for companies. Tapos, iniisip ko kung paano maging ganyan. Iniisip ko nun paano maging visual artist at paano magkaroon ng exhibit. Parang ganun lang yung ganyan ko. So, nung nag-stop ako sa corporate world, yung isang sa step na ginawa ko, I think, nung hindi ko alam yung gagawin sa life, I think mag-enroll sa workshop. Hindi ko actually maalala kung paano ko nahanap yung workshop sa PAP that time. I think nag-type lang yata ako sa internet. So, April of 2013, nag-workshop ako under Sir Benji Torado Cabrera and Angelo Magno ng basic classes. So, after that, I think, nag-evolve yung interest ko, and then parang nag-assist ako sa kanila sa workshops nila, and then eventually nagkaroon ng opportunity na makapag-work regularly dun sa workshop ng PAP or studio ng PAP, and nakatrabaho sila Sir Benji, sila Ambi, sila Junjun, sila Chong that time. So madami akong natutunan, not just siguro sa techniques ng printmaking from them, but dun sa ibang aspect ng buhay na rin. So initially yung mga works ko, nag-start ako with the monotypes na gamit yung plastic, so parang yung found objects na ginagamit. So I think yung sumunod na taon doon, I think si Ma'am Ling naging teacher ko sa UP Masters. So doon nag-umpisa na mag-evolve yung from printmaking, yung practice ko, to sculptural and installation work. So ayun, so I think mag-move ako dun sa ginawa kong work dun sa for the folio project. Yan. So yung work na ginawa ko for the folio project, ito po yan. Silk screen po siya ng found wires. So mga pan po siya, para siyang mga image po siya ng mga napulot na alambre sa mga kalsada. So yung work na to po, na ginawa ko siya last year sa Negros, kung saan ako na-stranded for 10 months. Actually, yung residency originally 2 months lang siya, pero na-extend siya to 10 months dahil sa lockdown. So, dun ko ginawa yung work na to. So, ang process po nito, yung galing po to yung mga napulot na alambre dun sa yung image na napulot na alambre mula sa paglalakad sa Talisay, Negros. And then, parang ginamit ko yung wires na yon para mag-drawing dun sa specified space for the folio project. And then, translate ko siya into a rubber cut print. Tapos, from rubber cut, with the help of local silk screen artist, si Kuya Arman Bagoyo, ginawa namin yung silk screen for the edition. So, yung title ng work na to, nag-umpisa ang lahat ng paglalakad. So parang kung paano ka gagawa ng imahe from a very simple act, which is walking lang. And then kung ano yung mga bagay na nakita ko doon. So in this case, yung found wires. So extension siya ng work na ginawa ko from 2019, which is yung mga found wires na nakita ko naman sa construction sites. And na-show siya as the actual object. This time naman, translating that image into print. So, ayun. So, story din siya nung parang, actually, nung time nagpupunta ako ng Negros, yung, dala ko yung mga materials for the folio projects kasi I think yung mga deadlines nun sabay-sabay. So, I think nauna pang nakabalik yung paper sa Maynila kaysa ako. So, I think napadala ko na siya. Parang mas nauna pa siya kasi dun ko ginawa yung edition. So, ayun po yung kwento nung pyesa na to para sa folio. Maraming pong salamat.
Maraming salamat, Mars. So in case everyone doesn't know yet, Mars is also included in our current batch of 13 artist awardees ng CCP. We just announced our latest batch last June. And actually, there are many 13 artist awardees in our folio. Kasama na si Sir Emong and many others. It's Miss Ambi.
Yes, so thank you to the four artists that are special guests for today who shared about their works, about their experiences. But I hope, Rika, you don't mind that I'm taking the liberty also to make mention, like gaya na ng sabi natin kanina, it was such a hurdle in creating this portfolio during the pandemic. And it takes also, it also takes somebody who's diligent and efficient to coordinate this project. So I'd like to also thank Yas Doctor, the project coordinator from the end of
Yes.
Association of Pinoy Printmakers, and also the entire team who worked with for this. So that also includes Anton Villaruel and Junjun Santa Ana. So what do we move on to, Rika? Are we going to move on to introduce our marketing,
Yes,
the
we
people
have a
from
little
marketing?
commercial break.
All right. So before we
Yes.
meet and chat with the artist, Miss Gemma Marco of the CCP Marketing Department is here to tell us about everything we have to know about purchasing or making reservations of the portfolio. Miss Gemma?
Thank you, Miss Andy. As shown here, Folio 1 is composed of editions of 20 featuring prints by 15 artists. Folio 1 is priced at 350,000 pesos, but we're giving it to you today at the launch price of only 300,000 pesos. Folio 2 is composed of editions of 30 featuring prints by 25 artists. Folio 2 is priced at 200,000 pesos, but we're giving it to you at the launch price of only 150,000 pesos. Ordering your copy is easy, as we will show you in this slide. Step 1, scan the QR code or click the order form link on the chat box. Step 2, fill out the form and choose edition number. Please take note that only available edition numbers can be checked. Step 3, click Submit. After order submission, CCP sales team will contact you for the payment, delivery, and other details. And after payment validation, an official receipt will be issued and delivery will be arranged. It's free delivery within Metro Manila. Please note that print folios will be released upon full payment and complete validation. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We know that online processes like order submissions can often be challenging. But don't worry, our marketing specialists, Bel Sablan and Paolo Perez, are here to assist you. If you encounter any difficulty in filling out the online form, please don't hesitate to ask them and they will be happy to help you.
Thank you so
Oh, by
much.
the way,
Yeah, go ahead.
if you have a relative, friend, or colleague who might be interested in acquiring the print folio, please let us know and tell us how we can reach them. So your referrals will be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss Gemma, and to the rest of the CCP marketing team that we've been working very closely with on this project. Thank you for all your help and thank you for all the work that you've been doing. And now, finally, we have the amazing chance to hear from the rest of our 20 over 30 artists here with us today for our meet and greet part of the afternoon. A lot of them were already mentioned. So I'm so excited to hear from them. Would anyone like to start? Any burning questions? All right, maybe Miss Ambi, should we get the ball rolling? I'm really excited to hear about the other artists' experience here. I think Miss Offie was, we had a shout out kay Miss Offie Helveson Teki, our viscosity printmaking master. Can we hear from you, Miss Offie? If I think you're still here, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've unmuted myself, but I'm sorry I cannot stay because I have to have my vaccine updated soon. So since it's in another village, if you're still around when I'm back, I will gladly join everyone. And it's really, I really liked listening to Elmer, for example, who shows the ingenuity of Pinoys making do with what we have on hand to produce something, you know. And Ling's prints are so sculptural that goes back to it. It sums up most of her works.
So Miss Offie is joining us from France. So may time difference then. But thank you for being here. Even just for a little bit. This project is really actually a fundraising effort. So the proceeds will go to both CCP and AP. One of our CCP board members, Attorney Lorna Kapunan, is raising her hand. You have a question, ma'am?
I just have I don't know if it's a question from ignorance, no? Because I like hearing your stories. Para kayong one happy family, no? You all know each other. Are you a closely knit group? Konti lang ba kayo in this form of art? And meron ba kayong next generation? Is there parang ka-age group lang tayong lahat dito, no? Parang senior citizens tayong lahat. Is there an attempt, or is it part of your project to share your expertise, your talent with a younger generation? Because ngayon everybody's pivoting into ito mga cartoons, no? Mga animation, ano, na parang nakakalimutan na natin yung art form na ito.
Such a great question. Would anyone want to respond?
If there's nobody else, Rika, I hope
Yeah,
you
go
don't mind
ahead,
if
Miss Pandy.
I address this. Yes, attorney. The tradition. First of all, there's some of us close-knit group because we belong to the Association of Printmakers. This is like a 50-something-year-old association that has thrived through the decades from the time of Mang Mani. And there's always that you would observe that there's always parang is handed from generation to generation. But at this point, there's not too many younger people. Although in schools, maybe they're not present with us or they're not with us, but many things are happening outside also the association. And we're slowly discovering them, young people like in their 20s, in their 30s, 20s. So they're there. Siguro it's only a matter of maybe creating an event to get together all those who are interested and who are making prints. And also in the schools, it's very popular. I teach in UP Diliman. It's a kind of like an elective and it's very popular, not only in the Studio Arts Department, pero pati sa Viscom, pati sa education. Sometimes I get students from College of Education. So there is that interest. The interest is not lost. It's still there. But I think if there's any need to really, if there's a way to address the need to make it more popular among the young, siguro it should be a team effort. And CCP is always helping us. Every time may pasinaya, the most attended event of CCP, we do workshops. And then we give them our contact details. There are those who are asking, who request for workshops. We do workshops in the studio that's provided by CCP behind the Folk Arts Theater, AP workshop. And we also pag may mga request na on-site, we also go on-site. And we try to coordinate also. We did many workshops with, meron kami with PAEA, meron kami with Teach Philippines, meron kaming marami po. Pero I think we just have to enforce it even more. Kasi sayang naman din talaga kung walang kung walang susunod.
Salamat sa sagot. Thank you. Nung nasa UP ako, swimming lang ang elective namin noon. Which I hardly passed anyway. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank you rin, ma'am.
I think it's also really interesting because a lot of our printmakers are actually also educators. So you have Hershey Malines who's teaching in Benil, you have Angelo Magno who's teaching in APC, and dami. So they're really able to share and teach this medium. I think Ling was raising her hand.
Yes, nakalimutan ko sabihin kanina. Gusto ko rin magpasalamat kay Ambi ulit. Because I think she's a very strong force in the printmaking community. I learned to enjoy printmaking, make my prints, my plates cleaner kasi stricto siya na teacher. But aside from her being a really good printmaking teacher, naging matali kaming kaibigan. I also want to say si Leonor Lim, I think I can see her. Is she here? Imelda.
I'm back. Thank you.
Pandy. I mean, they're like super strong influences and inspirations to all of us. Kasi mahirap talaga yung proseso, yung technique. So, bawa ko sa mga printmakers.
Thank you, Ling. Thank you, Ling. Thank you for joining us too.
Hi, Miss Lenore. You wanna share anything? And Sir Emong is raising his hand after also.
Yes. I just
Hi,
want
Lenore.
Hi, hello. I'm sorry I had to leave for a while because I'm also with a Appassionata exhibit. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody who has been working for this project and the team of 2030. Thank you. And it's a great honor to be part of this organization. Although I'm not in the Philippines most of the time, I'm in touch with most of you. And I'm really, really very proud of this group. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Live from, are you in Canada now, Miss
Actually,
Lenore?
I just arrived in Hong Kong a few days ago.
Okay.
I'm in quarantine for 14 days here in a hotel. So this is my 4th day. So I still have 10 days to go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Sir Emong, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, gusto ko lang idagdag doon sa sinabi ni Ling. Gusto ko rin magpasalamat kay Ambi, Abanyo, for inviting me for this print portfolio project. At saka ngayon ko lang din kasi nadidiscover yung mga printmaking community. Tapos ako, dahil being self-taught, very generous sila sa knowledge nila. Pag mayroon akong kailangan na tanungin tungkol sa materials and paper, si Ambim, magre-reply siya, magre-recommend siya ng mga networks, yung mga magagandang mga carving tools na kailangan gamitin, tapos naghahanap din kasi ako ng Japanese washi paper, so meron siyang nirekomenda sa akin sa Cavite, and also si Benji Torado Cabrera, pagdating naman sa intaglio printing, yan ang mentor, my master. So maraming salamat, Master Benji. At saka isa pa, dahil na rin sa social media, yung sa Facebook, sa Instagram, meron akong nami-meet, although hindi pa kami nag-kita personally, may mga printmaking initiatives din sa Silay, sila Angela Silva. So hopefully next time magkaroon kami ng mga project together.
Thank you, Sir Emong. And I also really want to share for talking about people who's been working to advocate for the printmaking medium. We have two very great supporters of printmaking here also today. Miss Boots Herrera and Miss Diana Ongpin Recto are here. They're actually they were able to have the reasons that we're able to have the printmaking studio in the folk arts theater of the CCP. They were really we're really grateful to them for that. Maybe we can ask them to speak later on. But I see Dr. Haywilaya is raising his hand.
Yes, I just wanted to ask what is the best way of preserving prints? Kasi the trouble with our climate is that they develop, fungus, etc. And of course, if you hang prints naman on your wall, they either fade or also develop fungus, etc. So what would be the best way of preserving it? Kasi in abroad, the parang humidity is low. And so you don't have the same kind of problems that we have here. And then also they don't hang prints in, diba? They have they put them in boxes and then they look at them at leisure. So what would be the best approach kaya for really collecting and enjoying prints given our climate?
Thank you. That's such a great question. Would anyone like to respond to Dr. Laya?
There's Lenore.
Yes, Miss Lenore.
Okay, from experience, Mr. Laya, the framer that you have to get to frame, if you want to exhibit some of them or put up in your wall, should have a knowledge of like using acid-free paper, glassine at the back, and acid-free mats. That helps a lot. And so, but also if you're going to be keeping it in storage, it has to be an acid-free box. And in between, I always put glassine paper and make sure that it's, and I still cover the box with plastic. So I have some of my works in Manila, in our condominium, and I've kept them well. They're still good as long as they're in between glassine paper and acid-free box. If, for example, they're big and I have to make a cardboard box, I have to line the cardboard box with acid-free paper, and the tape also has to be acid-free, the tape. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Ms. Leonor. I also want to share that we really thought about issues like this when we created this 20/30 print folio. So all the materials that we used are acid-free, the type of paper. We also have the glassine inserts between each print. We also have desiccants in each of the folios, and they all come also with cotton gloves that really will ensure or will help in keeping these works in good condition for a long time. One of the artists, Sir Noel El Farol, also said, similar to the folio box containing prints, Solander box, all acid-free materials, where you can store works on paper in small stacks. Also agreeing with him is one of our guests also, Ricky Francisco, who is actually an expert in things like this. So maybe he'd like to respond as well. He said Solander boxes are a good alternative, especially if the prints are matted. So Ricky is from Fundación Sanso. You're muted, Ricky.
Thank you, Rika. Good afternoon, Sir Jimmy Laya.
Hi.
I agree
Good
po
afternoon.
with Sir Noel El Farol. Not every one of us could afford the humidified rooms and air-conditioned rooms, but there's this principle called buffering in conservation. A buffer is something that would protect something else from temperature and humidity. And acid-free boxes and then mat boards are good buffers. So if we have Solander boxes or acid-free boxes, and then we have the prints that are matted of the same size fitting inside the box, in theory, you could handle the prints safely kahit na hawak-hawakan, hindi masisira yung prints, hindi magkaka-thumb mark, and the humidity will be lower than what allow molds to grow. So I think that's a feasible and relatively affordable solution for many people.
Thank you, Ricky. We have so many other artists here. I just want to read some of their names. We also have, of course, Radel Paredes is here. Also, if I haven't mentioned kanina, Jonathan Olazo is here. Hershey Malinis, Henriel is also here. Kat Deloricon, for Sir Neil Deloricon is also here. And of course, Sir Benchi Cabrera is also here. Thank you so much, Lenin, for everyone who came. Any other questions, sharings? Yes, Ms. Ambi?
Yeah, I think I'd like to take this opportunity also on behalf of the PAP, the AP, to thank the CCP for your trust in us, for supporting this project, for always being behind us and supporting us, for the studio space, like you mentioned earlier, thanks to Ms. Diana Ongtinrecto and Ms. Boots Herrera, to Sir Phil, Sir Pandy, and our seniors. You see, this is like the success of or the reason why AP is able to do all these things and able to reach out to people, able to bring art to the people, is because of the support of especially the seniors, those who came before us. Kaya if there's anything that we can do, or if there's anything that we share, it's because we also want to say thank you for those who shared with us. Like yung gusto ko sanang sabihin kanina, nothing of what I teach or nothing of what we teach is originally from us. It's also handed down to us by our teachers. So I'm very thankful to Sir Pandy and the more senior artists who have inspired. And it's a collective. It's not just individual, and that's the beauty of printmaking, because you are not stuck alone. Kasi in printmaking, you share the space, you share the techniques, you have to learn from each other, and you cannot be alone. So that in itself is a gift, is a blessing, and there's the people that support you. Sometimes when you're an artist, a painter, you just work on your own alone. That's also good. There's a kind of solitude, but in printmaking, iba rin yung you're taking the journey together, and you go to other countries, you speak the same language. So it's good to have this, and thank you CCP, because kung walang CCP, we don't know where our studio is. So thank you to Diana, to Sir Pandy, to Boots, to Rika, or Chris Millado, the people, and also to Dr. Laya, who's been also very supportive. So yun, on behalf of PAP and personally, I'd like to thank everyone.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ambi. CCP would not be anywhere also with all the artists that we exhibit and we share and we learn from, really. So thank you also. We're about to hit our 2-hour mark. I don't want to keep everyone for too long.
Additional lang, Rika.
Sige po,
I forgot
go
to
ahead.
also thank Ms. Des Francis.
Yes, of course. So yeah, I don't want to keep everyone for too long. Thank you so much for being here. Maybe Miss Ambi, we can take this home already.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Picture na lang. Let's take a picture.
Yes, we'll have a photo up. So let me just read some of our final words. Thank you everyone for joining us this. I really hope we can all see each other face to face soon at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. For those interested, CCP and AP also produced a video series on the artist's processes and on the techniques used to create the prints. So the 6 video playlist is actually available in the CCP YouTube channel. That's what we watched in our pre-program videos. So you can actually scan the QR code there, or you can type the link, or you can screenshot the page. So those who prefer to read about printmaking and the history of the Association of Pinoy Printmakers, previously known as the Philippine Association of Printmakers, you may also check out the free downloadable exhibition catalog of our 2018 exhibition, curated by Dr. Patrick Flores, Tirada, 50 Years of Philippine Printmaking, 1968 to 2018, which is available in the CCP website. Again, you can scan the QR code flashed in the screen, or you can type the website address there. Lastly, please follow the CCP Visual Arts and Museum Division and the Association of Pinoy Printmakers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks, everyone. We're
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, and really happy to see you all.